Khamzat Chimaev made Dricus Du Plessis his girlfriend on live TV for 25 minutes. What's up, guys? Slaz up here. UFC 319 just went down on Saturday the 16th, and I'm going to tell you guys as it is. This was a pretty great card. Khamzat Chimaev absolutely dominated Dricus Du Plessis for 5 rounds. We got 2 back-to-back first-round spinning elbow knockouts, and overall, some pretty great fights to watch. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are currently at 81 subscribers, and 99% of you guys watching are not subscribed. So without further ado, Khamzat Chimaev beat Dricus Du Plessis in a 50-44 decision. 50-44 after the fight went the full 5 rounds. And I must say, what an absolute masterclass by Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat was just so dominant in this fight, and he had a really good game plan. Khamzat did what I expected, shooting his signature double leg takedown within the first minute of the fight. When Khamzat shot, DDP's answer seemed to come in a guillotine submission. However, the guillotine did not work at all. Dricus needs to stop jumping that shit. Khamzat was able to cut the angle and get DDP in a side control, which was a recurring position throughout the duration of the fight. For the majority of this fight, it was either Khamzat holding DDP in side control, Khamzat advancing and putting DDP in a crucifix, which happened 5 times throughout the fight, or Khamzat attacking DDP's back, looking for a rear naked choke. And I mean, DDP tried to fight back. DDP went in there as a warrior, and actually, he was smiling in between rounds, even after getting dominated for the full rounds. However, DDP just had no answer for what Khamzat was bringing to him. Khamzat would just go in there, shoot a takedown or clinch, get DDP on the ground, and just hold him in side control or a crucifix and get some strikes from there. And to be honest, DDP could do absolutely nothing about it. If you watch the fight, you could actually see DDP tried many times to escape, but to no avail. Khamzat was just able to hold DDP down to that canvas like glue, and it was honestly embarrassing for DDP. Khamzat was able to go out there and hold DDP on the bottom like he was his girlfriend.
Oh man, I can't wait till the 28th. I'm gonna make you my girlfriend.
Let me tell you something, you. Hey, you know something?
What I will give DDP credit for is that he wasn't able to get submitted by Khamzat Chimaev. DDP had great submission defense in this fight. Once Khamzat got DDP to the canvas, he smelled blood in the water. Khamzat was relentless, searching for that rear naked choke, and DDP did an excellent job at not letting him get it. And I think after Khamzat realized how difficult it would be to submit DDP, that's where his game plan slightly altered, and he decided to control him and strike him on the ground instead of looking to submit him. There was a moment, and I think the 4th or the 5th round, where the ref stood the fighters up, and DDP just started going balls to the wall, all gas, no brakes with his striking. But Khamzat's just too good. Khamzat moves like water. He floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee, and he transitions from striking to wrestling in ease. Khamzat was able to go from his striking into his wrestling, get his takedown, and there wasn't anything that DDP could do to answer it. The 5th round was the closest round that DDP got, though. DDP got some strikes in and actually landed a takedown trip on Khamzat. DDP ended up on the top position and started wailing down on Khamzat until Khamzat turned his back. Then, after that scramble, DDP got to Khamzat's back and locked up a rear naked choke. And here, I thought DDP's plot armor would kick in, and that after getting manhandled for 4 rounds, he would slip in a cheeky sub and win. But no. Khamzat reversed the momentum and ended up winning the round regardless. So yeah, at the end of the day, Khamzat was as dominant as ever and cemented himself as the new middleweight champion of the world. And honestly, it sucks to see DDP's time as champion end. He had a really good run as champion, defending often and against great competition. However, mark my words, this fight is not the end of Dricus Du Plessis. DDP is still so young. He's only 31 years old and still has many years left with the UFC. So it will definitely be interesting to see where his career goes from here, and I'll definitely keep my eye tuned. Let's talk about Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Talk about a barn burner fight. The knockout was insane. Honestly, this fight was all gas, no brakes, just 2 men meeting inside the octagon trying to take each other's heads off. And to be completely honest, Aaron Pico was doing great leading up to getting knocked out. Pico was putting it on to Murphy with his speed, his combinations, and his entries. I believe that he actually caught Murphy up against the cage a few times, but that doesn't matter. Lerone Murphy hit a gangster spinning elbow finish, putting Aaron Pico out cold. Lerone Murphy sent Aaron Pico to a Gartha with that elbow, and he also got a follow-up shot on Pico too while he was out cold on the canvas. Let's talk about Carlos Prates versus Geoff Neal. Another banger! Guys, CP put on a masterclass in this fight. Carlos Prates also sent Geoff Neal to a Gartha when he knocked him out cold with a spinning elbow at the end of round 1. That's right, not just one, but 2 back-to-back first-round spinning elbow knockouts. The sound of Carlos Prates' elbow was disgusting. If you haven't seen the KO, look it up and listen to the noise of Carlos Prates' elbow digging into Geoff Neal's cranium. The sound is nasty. There's really not much else to say. Shout out to Carlos Prates for that amazing knockout. We need to talk about Kai Asakura. If you guys did not know, Kai Asakura was the champion in another organization, Rizin. And at this point, we need to put our foot down on something. If your wins or time as a champion did not happen in the UFC, it does not count when you come into the UFC. And I'll get into this. So, Kai Asakura lost his second UFC fight this weekend, back-to-back losses in the UFC, to Tim Elliott, who submitted him with a mounted guillotine. Really good submission. And we've seen this situation before, where a champion or really good fighter from another organization comes into the UFC and drops the ball on their debut. And that same thing happened with Asakura. He was the bantamweight champion in Rizin, signed with the UFC, and had his debut against Pantoja and lost. And to be fair, we can disregard that loss to Pantoja. Pantoja is on a generational run right now and might be cementing himself as the best flyweight ever. So losing to him on your debut is not the worst thing ever. What is the worst thing ever is losing your next fight to Tim Elliott. So yeah, Kai Asakura is proving my point that if your wins or time as a champion did not happen in the UFC, it does not count when you come into the UFC. I wasn't going to talk much about Chimaev versus Nolan because I don't know much about either fighter, but I'm going to include it in this video because this fight was hype as hell. Chimaev won with a round 2 rear naked choke. If you guys didn't see this fight, I would definitely look it up. Chase O-Block Hooper got knocked TF out by Alexander Hernandez. I was hoping for Chase to win, and he was doing really well until he made a mistake and got caught by Alexander Hernandez. So it's a great win for Hernandez. It's a good knockout, and he definitely set the hype train for Chase Hooper back. And that's a wrap for UFC 319. What a wild night of fights, from Khamzat making DDP his girlfriend to 2 back-to-back spinning elbow knockouts. This card was really good. But I want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite moment of UFC 319? Do you think Khamzat keeps his belt for a long time, or does someone go out and have an answer to his game plan? Drop your thoughts down below. And until next time, peace.